Chen. My name is Lily Chen. This is your host for this edition of the Connection podcast. On this Tuesday, May the 5th, with me today is our special guest, Jeffrey Bennon. He's the commissioner of the Winnipeg High School Football League. Hi, Jeffrey. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome. Thank you very much for having me.
Okay, I have several questions. So, can you just at the beginning to introduce how about the role of to be a commissioner?
So my role as commissioner of the Winnipeg High School Football League is to ensure that the league is run administratively wise and also at a competition level run fairly and with the integrity and the utmost safety for our coaches and our athletes. So right now we have 47 teams. If the 2020 season kicks off in any capacity, we could be up to 50 teams. So that's over 2,000 athletes. And then my role, along with my junior varsity commissioner, Mr. Brian Marks, is to ensure that the league is run, once again, administratively. Games are booked, referees are booked, and then all the way up to the championship weekend, which you guys are a huge part of as well.
Okay, so my question is, this year we're facing a special, period of the pandemic. So how is this challenges in this 2020 season?
It's at the end of the day, football is just a game. So we understand that the importance of what's going on around the world and where the school, how school is and education is the most important thing, and sports is secondary. But in saying that, though, we have athletes and coaches that ask me questions every single day about, are we going to have a season? Are we going to be able to play this year? And right now, we don't know. We don't know the answers. We don't know what is in the future. But we respect our leaders, the ones who run the schools, the principals, the administrations, and also our government officials. So right now, I wish I had a solid answer for you. I'm hoping and thinking positive vibes that everything will start in September. But right now, I can't. You just take it. You take it with a grain of salt. What's going on in the world, and you just realize that we have to be prepared with what happens and what decisions are made.
Okay, but according to the announcement of the premier, he said that in June is coming. We will reopen some greenfield for some programs. Do you have any plan for that?
We shut down our spring season, so we usually play games at the end of May into June, and then for June we take a step back and let athletes focus on exams and teachers and coaches as well. So right now we're not going to do anything league-wide for the month of May or June. That's not going to stop these young 17, 16, 18-year-old athletes to go out and maybe throw the ball around. That's completely on their own. But from a league point and a school point, the league has no plans to do anything this spring at all.
Okay, but as you mentioned, if we can hopefully reopen on September, so in fact, our weather here in Winnipeg, it seems like in this year we haven't any opportunity to have any match, right?
And if you look at last year, the storm on Thanksgiving weekend, that put our whole season in flux. We pushed our playoffs back a week. So right now, we're going to plan on a schedule as normal, and then we may just slice weeks as we go down. So we may have to get rid of week 1, week 2, but these are all things I'm working on with my advisory council that we're working on as we speak right now. And so we're going to hopefully come out with something to present to the Winnipeg School Division by the end of May, and then have it to the coaches mid-May, and then have mid-June, and then have everything wrapped up with different scenarios based on what can or can't happen by the teachers' leave by the end of June. So we want to be prepared. We want to prevent any panic, and we want to make sure that we're going in with a solid game plan prior to the end of the school year.
Okay, so I have read, some articles to say that there's some players after they graduate from the high school, they can join to some, professional player position to start their football player career. So for this year's graduates, so what do you think about their future? What this kind of impact of their career?
Well, actually, my son, so this is very personal. My son is in grade 12 this year, and he's signed a scholarship to go to U of M next year, along with I think we're up to 55 athletes right now that have signed to go play U Sport, and then and then we're not even including the Canadian Junior League, which athletes are signing, and they're a little bit they've slowed down in their announcements as well because of what happened with COVID. But I would say to these athletes and to these families, it's not a sprint; it's a marathon. You've worked hard your entire high school career. You've put in the time, both academically and athletics, and now you just need to continue that focus. Don't let what's happening right now deter you. You have to, if you don't have a gym at home, you got to go outside. You got to run. You have to find ways to separate yourself the same way you did with your academics and with your athletics. So it's very important that my message to them is, don't give up. This is a minor setback. Just like in the opposition scores on you, or you throw an interception, we're going to get through this. When we come out on the other side, we just don't know yet. So stay positive, stay upbeat, and remember that greater things are on the horizon for us.
Okay. I have read on the website, there's you have 4 divisions about the teams, right? Division 1 to 4. And each year there's some kind of, upgrade or down, they will move from each division for some teams. So what will be the, impact of the COVID-19 to this kind of movement?
That's a loaded question, because depends which coach you ask. They'll give you a different answer.
Oh, sorry.
So we have a tiering process, and actually we just started that yesterday when working with Coach Esselmont from Sisler, where what we do is we send out a series of questions, and coaches fill out basically where their team is, where they see what returning athletes they have. They have a whole list of criteria that they have to fill in basically in a Google form sheet. It spits it out in an Excel spreadsheet, and then we rank the teams based on what the feedback that they give. And then from there, we make some coaches happy, we make some coaches unhappy. Those teams that are on the bubble, they want to stay up, they want to stay down. But, at the end of the day, I respect, and I have an amount of respect for the coaches, because they're trying to put their athletes in a situation to be successful. And successful doesn't always mean a win championship. It means being safe. It means having fun and competing at the level where they feel they can. And you're going to have teams. We had some teams last year that we moved up as a league that should have stayed down. We had some teams that stayed down that should have went up. It's not an exact science, and it's very fluid, but we try to do the best we can. It's all based on mathematics, and it's all based on the coach's input. And I would say the past couple of years, we've had a couple of mistakes each year, but if you look at it, 2 out of 47, the odds are okay, but we'd like to be, 100%. But the reality is sometimes you may have a team that has a rash of injuries, or a team that has someone that's never played football before step on the field and be dominant. So it's all about, the X's and O's basically on a spreadsheet that tell where the teams fit. And now the difference with COVID is this is all done electronically, where before it was done in a meeting setting, where coaches could, debate their situation and why they want to move up, why they want to move down. Now if it's not done on a platform like this, it's going to be done on an Excel spreadsheet and over a voting on a Google Forms document, for example. And sometimes people just vote how their heart tells them versus what their mind tells them. So we'll see how that goes. And then my job as commissioner is to smooth over those relationships and make sure those that aren't happy, and those that are happy take credit for it. That's how it goes.
Okay. So my last question is, I know that many people, they suffer a lot during this kind of pandemic, and it's especially for your field, for your players, for your coaches. So do you have any word to say to them?
One, I want to say thank you, because I know it's tough to stay inside, not go outside, and especially gather in groups. Football is a team sport. I know they're out there with, the small groups, throwing the ball, running, doing ladder work, doing whatever that is, but they're following what the Premier and the government is telling us to do. And for the most part, that's going to get us to where we want to go. It's tiring. It's frustrating. It is, especially to these grade 12s that lost their senior year. I can't imagine what that happened. I graduated in 93. I still remember my grad. I still have my grad sweatshirt. I remember my grade 12 year like it was yesterday, and to have that taken away from them, I'm more concerned about that aspect in football. But on a football aspect, don't give up. Don't stop training. Don't stop talking football with your coach. Don't stop your academics, because at the end of the day, football is just a sport, but the academic part will carry you the rest of your life. So I always say if you want to move to the next level and you want to play football, your minimum grade is 80%. So if you think you can take time off school now and get by on football, your commissioner has a different message for you.
Okay. Thank you, Jeffrey. That's all for my question. It's so nice to have you with us. And I wish all the players and the coaches will go back to their field and they can show us the fantastic matches in near future.
Thank you for having me. Have a great day. Stay safe.
Okay. We hope you enjoy our show about distance education, the Louis Riel School Division. It was great having our guest on show to let us to understand more about the Winnipeg High School Football League. I'm Lily Chen, and this is the Connection Podcast, our way of keeping you connected during this pandemic. Although we are happy to step forward to our regular life recently, but we still need to maintain the social distance and wash our hands and so on. Make sure you follow us on social media on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at LRSD TV or on Twitter at LRSD_TV. Thank you for watching The Connection. Have a good day. Remember, stay safe and stay connected.